I want to talk about Liz Cambage.
It's a pretty big issue.
Is this the right time and place? Because every now and again, you just put the brakes on.
Well, let's not bury the lead today for you, because this is exactly what you were wound up about. I think you've taken some of the commentary around this quite personally.
Yes, I have. I have. I'm not going to deny that.
I know that. I said I think you have taken some of this quite, and you rightfully so, given the fact that you were on the board of Basketball Australia, and some of Basketball Australia's management of this has been slightly brought into question.
Well, I think that.
So we have some audio here. Do you want to kick off any? Do we
need to explain what's happened first?
Does the Kelly Underwood, Liz Jenner O'Hea stuff help you explain it?
It does, but just for the audience out there, I just didn't know whether we wanted to provide a brief summary of Liz Cambage.
You go, and then we'll play what happened on Sunday on Outsiders.
Most people remember prior to the Olympic Games, it was a week out before it started. She got involved in an altercation with Nigeria and in a practice game. In preparation, and the Opals and their leadership group decided we can't tolerate this behaviour. At the time, we didn't know exactly what the behaviour was. Subsequently, it did become, for those that were around and in the inner circle, that there was a pretty strong leakage about exactly what happened, but it was kept under wraps, and she didn't
swept under the carpet. And swept under the carpet, some people would say.
I wouldn't say that.
For Liz's benefit, I would say.
Correct.
If there was any covering up of this or attempt to not let it get out, am I right in saying it was to help Liz Cambage?
I think so. In the prospect that perhaps that sometime in the future that she may understand the mistakes that she had made, and that perhaps there could be some type of reconciliation, and that she would be available to play, because there's no doubting her basketball talent is elite and very, very unique. There's not too many 6'10" girls running around that can do what she does. Nothing about what she does on the court, but how she is as a teammate that was called into question. And then since then, so there was that underlying current about, well, what really happened? And Jenner O'Hea was on the Insiders program yesterday. The
Outsiders?
Isn't it the Insiders?
Insiders Politics, Outsiders Sport. That's how it works. I get it mixed up all the time.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Kelly Underwood did a magnificent job taking us through. Is now the right time for you, and then you can bounce off the back of this?
I think so.
This is how that conversation between Cal and Jenner O'Hea took place.
I'm living my best life. I'm supported. I'm protected on a level that the Opals or the Australian team never gave to me. My heart lies with those who want to protect me and those who want me to be the best I can be. And I never felt that in the Opals at all.
I can hold my head up high and say that I always loved her, always cared for her, always supported her, always had her back. I think that is her reality, and I think the listeners and watchers out there can believe who they want to believe. But yeah, I can hold my head up high.
And this all started in that training game, or the pre-Olympics game when you played Nigeria, and it's never really emerged what happened, but I've had it confirmed from a few sources. Is it correct that they were playing Nigeria and Liz Cambage had her feathers ruffled, and she turned to them and said, "Go back to your third world country"? And of course, Ezi Magbor is originally Nigerian, a Nigerian who's now living in Australia and playing for your team, and as a result there was a brawl that erupted, and since then you haven't spoken to her.
That is all 100% correct.
The brawl, was that between Ezi and Liz? Where did the brawl?
No, Ezi she's Nigerian. It was between Liz and the Nigerian opponent.
Okay, so that's right.
And I think that was a brief summary of some of the things that took place. There are other versions that were far more offensive than just saying you're going from a third world.
Andrew Bogut's waiting on that on Sydney radio today.
Well, now whether that's true or not, I understand Jenner O'Hea. She's just repeating what was said, and she said, yes, that is correct. My understanding, there's even more to it that's even more disgusting than what was actually said.
And do you believe that?
There's no reason why I shouldn't. Because it's been said by a number of people who I think would know.
Yep.
But above and beyond that, and the thing that really, really grates at me is when she makes the comments to say she feels supported in Los Angeles, and at a level that wasn't there with the Australian team, and the suggestion that she was never supported by Australia, the Opals, or Basketball Australia, that is highly offensive. I've been in a privileged position to be on the board of Basketball Australia during much of her time, and I had a long conversation with her directly. And unfortunately, I couldn't have that conversation just one-on-one. Her agent had to be there,
Right.
and we went through some of the issues that were clearly apparent issues about where your priorities need to be, and there was a complete lack of understanding that, well, maybe I'm not wrong, but I can see another side of the argument.
Refused to see it.
Refused to see that her behaviour was not there. There has been other.
Can you illustrate any of that, or is it stuff that
I don't
best?
think it's appropriate,
Okay,
but just to say that was a conversation that I was disappointed. I couldn't even have that conversation with her personally.
Yep.
It had to be.
Yep.
So right there is an element of trust that I was asked to do it. I was asked to do it as a figure in basketball, someone who's on the board that had an understanding of of the issues that the board were facing in her, and we couldn't have that as a one. But it didn't worry me at the time. Okay, I don't care. I'm 100% transparent here. I'm trying to find a solution to the conflict that was arisen. In addition to that, there was some behaviour that Liz had that, under any reasonable judgment, that there would have been some significant repercussions that were there, that she was supported not just by me but by others along the way. So
let me just get an understanding of what you're saying there. Are you saying that Liz Cambage did some things that you were dealing with,
and a lot of it's documented,
and you tried to help her through it?
100%. And to say that she wasn't supported is unfair. It is grossly unfair. And, I have great sympathy and compassion for, where she was at that point in time. And there may have been some confusion about where I need to be, her schedule, her timetable, all those things that are there. But at the bottom line, she made some decisions that didn't support her teammates. Yet, despite that, her teammates supported her during that time.
Yeah.
Now, the problem is, in her mind, she didn't think she was letting anyone down. And I'm talking about whether you show up.
Yeah.
You show up
Yeah.
to prepare to represent your country. And so for all the things, and there might be times when she has certainly suffered some hardship. I don't know what they are, but they might be there. I'm not saying they're not.
Personal issues.
But to suggest other personal,
whatever,
team,
yep.
the normal things.
Yep.
But the suggestion on this particular incident and others that her teammates, her coaches, Basketball Australia, or anyone wasn't supporting her, that is offensive. That is offensive to people who are going out of their way to try and put in place a system where she can actually perform to her best. And it takes two. You don't get paid for representing your country, or very, very little. That's not your sole source of income. It's about honour.
Yep.
It's about privilege. It's about a sense of responsibility. It's about looking at your life and seeing how other people have provided you a privileged opportunity to perform to the highest level. And when you don't respect that, and in fact, you go the other way and say, these people have actually harmed me, that is disgusting behaviour by her. And it's offensive to me. It's offensive to anyone that's represented our country, that's her position.
There's not much more to say about that. That is powerful stuff from you. I think the fact that, I'll put this to you, the fact that Jenna O'Hay, who I think is an athlete of high integrity, the fact that she was prepared to publicly say what she did and put the team's position the way she did on national television on Sunday morning.
It's an insult to her.
Of course it is.
It's an absolute slap in her face.
Of course it is,
Who's
mate.
her friend?
Of course.
Defended her at the club level.
Of course.
Managed her, baby, looked after her.
So you think about the levels that you were brought in to try and deal with, right? You will know this better than me, but think about, I can only imagine what the long-term teammates, national level teammates of Liz Cambage have been texting her, calling her, hey, buddy, hey, mate, we need you.
Not just in the last 12 months.
No, this would have been going on for years to try and get her to see.
Embrace her.
The common good.
Provide
of course.
Provide an area where you feel secure. And they do. They don't have the resources.
No,
Everyone
no.
think that it's not about that, Andy. This is a privilege.
It's so disappointing. It's so disappointing. Let's get a break out of the way. I applaud you for your authenticity and your emotional honesty. Good on you for saying what you've said. I feel like you've been sitting on this for a little while now. No, this tipped you over. I get it.
I've
I get it.
supported. Even when there's times I'm thinking, geez, I'm not sure about this, but listen, people sometimes they're different. You want to give them a cuddle, but when you just throw it in someone's face with those comments alone, that just tipped me over the edge. Where I've never been.
Is she lost to Australian basketball now?
Absolutely.
Yep.
How can you come back from that?
There's no coming back now.
How can you?
No.
Now maybe there's a holier than thou moment where she sees the light and understands that, hey, maybe I've made a few blues. And maybe in time you can go through it. But the way she speaks now, it's that we are privileged to have her, not that she is privileged to have an opportunity to wear our colours.